Woo! Change of scenery and better lighting, which is kind of cool. Except now you might see the cat walk past me, so we'll see if that's too distracting. Anyway, I'm taking a break from working on my display for Baltimore Comic-Con and Small Press Expo. I'm working on these big, long panels, yellow peril, and I'm going to put them into a tower, which will sort of look like the Metro Towers in the DC area. And instead of the big M logo, it's going to have the YP logo. I don't know if the pencil is reflective enough to show in the camera, but so that's what I'm working on. And for this guy, I couldn't really find a stencil, a ready-made stencil, so I kind of cut out my own, and I'm hand painting this, which is pretty dumb because it's not quite perfect. But I'm using one-shot painters, sign painters paint. And the funny thing about this stuff, I bought these cans like 6 or 7 years ago because I wanted to learn how to pinstripe. And so I got a pinstriping brush, a little dagger brush, and these paints, and I just never got around to it. So when it came time to work on my display, I figured, well, I'm painting a sign, essentially. I should try to use some of this stuff because I got it lying around. And the acrylic paints that I was using, the flow just, it wasn't what I was looking for. So I shook it up, cracked it open, got a brush out, and started messing with it. And this shit flows, man. This shit is great. One shot. Product placement. But yeah, no, this stuff lasted for 7 years in an unopened can. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it's a tight seal, but I've had paint cans lying around for years and never touched them, and then when I opened them, it's all roached and gross and stuff. Now, if you look closely when you see me at the con and you look at the display, you'll see that the letters are kind of gnarly and they're not perfect. And that's because I'm using this here Kolinsky, this is a Rosemary Co. Kolinsky number 3. It's not a lettering brush. It's a watercolor acrylic brush. You can use enamels with it if you just clean it well. So I'm using this instead of a proper lettering brush. When I'm done with this, I'm going to go probably try to find a lettering brush and then just work on some signs, make my own signs, because I actually like the process. Anyway, it's a long rambling. I had a question that I wanted to answer because I thought it's a worthwhile discussion, and so here we go. This comes from Slight Quills, and he writes, "Hey Jamie, at what point did your skill level get to the point you could draw something and be satisfied? I ask because I have been at this a while and I still can't seem to draw what I want to." If I was honest, I'd say that I'm still not quite comfortable with everything that I put out there. You know, as an artist, you're always striving for perfection. And one of the things that can be a real stopgap for artists is that exact desire to make it absolutely perfect. And I've known people who would just sit on a project and work on it for days and days and days, and those days turn into weeks, and those weeks turn into months and years, and they never get anything out because they're just so focused on getting every little bit perfect. And that's kind of dangerous. I mean, if you're a fine artist, you might have that luxury. You know, you might have a multi-thousand-dollar commission to do this magnificent oil painting, and whoever commissioned it from you doesn't mind waiting. But if your intent is to do commercial art or illustration or comics, at some point you have to publish the stuff. You have to get it out there. And I think I talked about this in an earlier vlog, but I think it's important enough to discuss it now. Like, I mean, this shit is terrible. Like, if you could see how horrible these letters are, it would be embarrassing. Like, I mean, this is fucked up Vetica. It's not Helvetica. It's messed up. Like, there's some scratch marks here. The paint isn't even. I'm not using the proper tools. But I have a convention next weekend, and I need to get this shit done. And so, at some point, you just have to shit or get off the pot. And it's not going to be perfect, and it's going to be ugly. And when you look back at it, you're going to think to yourself, man, this is some horrible, horrible shit. But you have to start somewhere, and you just have to bite the bullet and put your stuff out there. If that's your intent, if your intent is to do comics or illustration or a commercial driven art, you just have to live with it sometimes. And when you work in the design field or the graphics field, and you're working with clients or working for clients, you kind of get used to, you know, your clients sending projects back to you, so you kind of start divorcing yourself from the products. Like, you know, you put your best effort into it, you know, as a graphic designer, but you can't get married to them, because if the client doesn't like it, you have to change it no matter what. You know, even if it's the ugliest changes in the universe, even if you know that what you are going to do is going to make the client look like an asshole, you just got to do it. And so for designers, I think, for people working in a graphic design field, I think it's not necessarily easier, but it's something that that's easier to live with, putting out stuff that you're not exactly satisfied with. So for fine artists who are used to, you know, spending hours and hours and hours on working on a piece and a painting and things like that, making that transition from fine artist to like cartoonist, or fine artist to illustrator or something like that, it's a little bit more difficult to let go. So let's see. Slight Quills, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I'm still struggling. Every time I put up a piece, every time I upload a comic, you know, I think, man, I could have wrote that dialogue tighter. You know, those lines could be better. My foreshortening is awful sometimes. The backgrounds, what backgrounds? You know, sometimes I don't have any backgrounds. So there are a lot of things that I wish I could change, but you know, I've set up a schedule. I need to update on time, and I need to get the stuff out. I have a readership, and I've made it my responsibility to get the comics up at a certain point. And so I would love to spend, you know, more than 4 hours per comic, but you just got to get the stuff out there. And hopefully the more stuff you get out there, the more you'll practice and the better you'll get, and eventually you won't even care. You'll just be so focused on getting the stuff up there as best as you can that you'll just get better naturally, because you're practicing and you're doing it, and you're practicing and you're not focusing on it. So I don't know if any of that was helpful, but I just want you to know that you're not the only one out there who feels like your shit isn't good enough, or that your stuff isn't ready, or if it's not, you know, I don't want you to think that you're the only one. I think all of us are in the same boat. All of us cartoonists, all of us illustrators, all of us designers. There's always something that we can improve on. There's always better work that we want to put out there. There's always things that we wish looked a certain way, but we can't just get it right. And I guess that's just the nature of the beast. So you are not alone. So yeah, that's all I had on that. I'm gonna get back to the sign painting now, and paint fume inhaling and stuff. This stuff smells really good. Thanks for watching, and I'll check you later. Bye.